It's the deep of winter, 40,000 years ago, and you are holding a baby you cannot feed. The milk is gone. You haven't eaten in 2 days. The herd that was supposed to come never came, and the small thing in your arms is still alive, still warm, still looking up at you, and everyone in the shelter already knows what that means. Out here, a hungry baby was not the worst thing that could happen to a family. The worst thing was the choice the family had to make next. This is what ancient humans actually did with the babies they couldn't feed. And by the end, you're going to understand why this still lives somewhere deep in you. If questions like this keep you up at night, subscribe. This whole channel is the survival nobody wants to talk about. Start with the math, because the math is brutal. A newborn needs milk. Only milk. There is no formula. There is no soft cereal, no jar of food, no bottle. For the first years of life, a baby in the Ice Age has exactly one food source in the entire world: its mother. And that mother is starving too. When a woman is truly starving, her body makes a quiet decision before she ever does. The milk thins, then it slows, then it stops. Her body is choosing to keep her alive instead of the baby. She doesn't get a vote. And it isn't only food. A baby cannot keep itself warm. Its small body loses heat far faster than yours. And in an Ice Age winter, that clock runs in minutes, not hours, so someone has to hold it against bare skin, day and night, while still finding food, still feeding the fire, still moving when the camp has to move. That is the real reason so few made it. Look at the bones, and the pattern is everywhere. Across the Stone Age, it's likely only about half of all children born lived long enough to grow up. So a famine was not just hunger. A famine was a countdown timer strapped to every infant in the group. And here's the part nobody tells you. The people who survived the Ice Age were not the strongest, and they were not the kindest. They were the ones willing to do the thing you can't even let yourself picture. Picture it. Your baby is 3 years old and still nursing. That sounds strange to us, but it's real, and we can prove it. Scientists read the chemistry locked inside ancient children's teeth, layer by layer, like tree rings. Those layers record the exact moment a child stopped drinking milk. Across the Stone Age, that moment comes late, often 3, sometimes 4 years old. Why so late? Because there was nothing else to give them. No cow's milk, no mush a toddler could survive on. Wean a child too early onto tough adult food, and its body simply couldn't handle it. Mother's milk wasn't a comfort. It was life support. For years. Which means one mother could only keep one small child alive at a time. One. Think about that. Your body could not feed 2. So nature built in a rule, and every mother lived by it. Space your children about 4 years apart. 4 years. We see it in the teeth of ancient children, and we see it in the last mobile foraging peoples on Earth who lived the very same way for the very same reason. A woman who walks for a living can carry one small child and a load of gear. She cannot carry 2. The next baby cannot come until the last one can walk all day on its own. A baby born too soon broke that rule, and in the Ice Age, breaking it could cost both of them. So, what happened when a second baby came anyway? It was a death sentence for one of them, and every parent knew it. Feed the newborn, and the toddler, already walking, already laughing, already a person you love, loses its food and fades. Feed the toddler, and the newborn has no chance at all. And twins were the cruelest arithmetic of all. 2 mouths, 1 body, no spare. We know from the records of recent foraging peoples that raising twins was sometimes simply impossible. The land would feed one. Now put a famine on top of that. It's the 4th month of winter. The stored meat is gone. The reindeer never crossed the valley. The whole group is down to scraps. And there are more babies than there is milk. This is the moment the question stops being a question and becomes a decision. Who eats, who nurses, and when the herd finally moves, who the group can still carry. Because if you can't keep up, the cold takes everyone. Remember, these people moved. When the animals shifted, the whole camp followed, sometimes for days across open snow. A child who couldn't walk and couldn't be carried couldn't come. A baby that cannot be fed becomes a weight the whole group might not survive. So here is the answer you came for. What did they do? The truth is, it depended, and it was rarely simple. Sometimes the group shared the load. In healthy times, a baby was never just its mother's. Other nursing women fed it. Grandmothers carried it. We are built to raise children in groups, not alone. And a baby who lost its mother could sometimes be saved by another woman's milk. That generosity is why your species is still here. But generosity needs surplus, and a famine erases surplus. When there was nothing left to share, some groups made the hardest choice a human can make. They let one go so the others might live. Not out of cruelty, out of cold arithmetic, so that the milk, the warmth, and the strength left in the group could carry the rest through to spring. We don't say this to shock you. We say it because it's true, and because the same people who made that choice also loved their children fiercely, and we can prove that too. Because here is what the ground gives back. In Alaska, at a site called Upward Sun River, archaeologists found 2 infants, 11,000 years old, buried together with enormous care, laid on a bed of red ochre with finely made antler hunting points placed beside them. Hunting points for babies who would never hunt. That is not how you bury something you didn't love. In Russia, at Sungir, 2 children from the Ice Age were buried covered in thousands of hand-carved ivory beads that would have taken months, maybe years to make. People living on the edge of survival spent that time honoring 2 dead children. And here's the strange, hopeful twist hiding in your own biology. Human women are one of the only creatures on Earth that live for decades after they can have children. Why? The best answer we have is grandmothers. A grandmother could no longer bear children, but she could still gather, still carry, still feed a grandchild. Groups with living grandmothers simply kept more babies alive. You may be here right now because one of yours refused to let a child go hungry. So don't picture monsters, picture parents. Parents who loved their babies exactly as much as you love yours, and who lived in a world that sometimes made love a thing they could not afford. And this is the part you don't want to hear. You'd like to believe that if it were you, you'd have found another way, that you'd have given your own food, your own warmth, your own life before you let a child go. But you wouldn't have been choosing for yourself. You'd have been choosing for everyone, the other children, the hunters who needed strength, the whole bloodline, balanced against one baby you couldn't feed. Faced with that, with the snow not stopping and the milk not coming, you would have done what they did. Every culture on Earth carries a buried memory of this. That's not an accident. That's your ancestors. The ones who made the choice and lived. You feel it even now. The way a crying baby pulls at something physical in your chest. The panic of a parent who can't soothe a child. That alarm is ancient. It was wired into you by 40,000 years of people for whom a hungry baby was life and death. That feeling is them still inside you. And if you had lived back then, you would have done the same.